very good afternoon to all the friends joining from Saudi Arabia and a very good evening to everybody joining from India. Welcome to the Notebook 0R International Online Inter-School Debate powered by Stayfree, brought to you in partnership with Save the Children.
Good afternoon. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Good afternoon, ma'am. It's been our privilege hosting so many schools. Today is the Match 12 of the Pool D. We've had 11 fantastic debates so far, and the quality seems to be improving with every passing debate. Today we have one school from Saudi Arabia and another from Odisha, India. A debate that perhaps would be very unlikely in the normal school debating circles, but thanks to the lockdown, this has been made possible. Without much ado, let us start the proceedings for today. So ladies and gentlemen, we are looking forward to an exciting debate today. As you know, the debate has three adjudicators, two with one from each school and one neutral adjudicator. We are very privileged to have Mr. Philip Burrett with us today as the neutral adjudicator. Mr. Burrett retired from the illustrious Doon school in Dehradun as the deputy headmaster after 44 years of serving across various schools and various institutions as teacher, dean of activities, dean of student welfare, the housemaster, and various other very well distinguished posts. Sir, it's a privilege having you with us. If you could share some words with the contestants before we begin.
Thank you so much, Shabayu, for that introduction. When I looked at the debaters, I somehow figured out that we're going to have four ladies on the panel, on the debating podium today. I hope I'm right. I also Googled the schools that they represent. One's from a very lush green part of India that I'm sure is pouring down with rain. And the other two are from a very dry, very different sandy part of the Arabian Peninsula. So a very good debate to all of you. I wish you all the very best. If you all are four girls, wow, nothing like it, because I think the future of the world lies with girls. We've had some very nail-biting finishes, and I hope this is no different from the ones we've had before. I hope you learn a lot in this competition, and I look forward to a wonderful debate. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Wonderful having you with us today. So ladies and gentlemen, these are the two schools competing today, the Kendriya Vidyalaya from Kutra, Odisha, and the New Middle East International School from Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. If the contestants could please switch on their cameras. We're very proud to have Stayfree powering the 0-hour debates. Stayfree is a Johnson & Johnson brand, which does a phenomenal amount of great work for women's hygiene, particularly young women just entering their puberty. They had this public service announcement message that they wanted us to share with all of you. And it's our privilege to now show this video to you.
मेरे पीरियड शुरू हो गए
पहली बार हो रहे हैं मुझे तो काफी अजीब लग रहा है
पीरियड्स में मुझे आसान काम भी मुश्किल लगता है बहुत दर्द होता है
मैं किसी के पास बैठ भी नहीं सकती और जब मैं उठती हूँ बार-बार निशान चेक करती हूँ
घर में एक ही वॉशरूम है तो पैड चेंज करने में मुझे शर्म आती है
मुझे पैड को कचरे में छोड़ना पड़ता है
She may not understand what she's going through. She just needs to know. You do. Over 2 million girls will get their first period in lockdown. Your daughter or sister could be one of them. Talk to her. Tell her.
It's normal. It's just a period.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, after that heartwarming message, it is time to move on with the debate. The topic today. This House believes a ban on foreign investments is detrimental to domestic producers. This House believes a ban on foreign investments is detrimental to domestic producers. We have two schools with us today, the KV Kutra and the New Middle East International. From the KV, Mr. Pranab Mondal is the adjudicator. The student speaking for the motion is Sikharani Tanti. and the student speaking against the motion is Priyadarshini. From the New Middle East International School, Shima Rafat ma'am is the adjudicator. Misha would be speaking for the motion, while Zaina will speak against the motion. I hope I got the names and the pronunciations correctly. In case I didn't, please do correct me. So this, ladies and gentlemen, would be the speaking order. Shikha, you are starting out speaking for the motion for KV, followed by Zaina, who would be speaking against the motion, followed by Misha, who would be speaking for the motion, and finally Priyadarshini speaking against the motion. Shima ma'am, I understand you came in at the last minute. Can I just check with you if you have access to the scoring sheet?
No, sir, I can't.
Ma'am, if you could give me a minute, I will just quickly share that across with you.
Okay.
Ma'am, if you can check your email, there would be a mail from us.
I didn't receive it yet.
I'm sending you again, ma'am.
Okay.
It's gone to the Gmail ID that we have provided.
I got it now.
Yeah. If you could click on that link, ma'am.
Okay, I will see.
Philip, sir, I can see
Yeah,
you on.
I can open in sheets. Okay.
Yeah. So, ma'am, you have that scoring format in front of you. As you can see, there are 4 columns for the 4 contestants.
Yes.
On every box, there is this small arrow that you would see. If you click on that arrow, that will open up a drop-down list.
Yes, yes.
You can just select the points that you want to give to that particular contestant.
Okay. Okay, sir. Yes, I have the access now.
Great, ma'am. Perfect.
Thank you.
Mr. Mondal, I don't see you online on your sheet. If you could please confirm that you have access. Mr. Mondal, can you hear me? Mr. Pranam Mondal, if you can hear me, could you please unmute yourself?
Yes, I didn't get any kind of sheets.
You did not get a link in your email?
No.
So if I may just confirm your email address once, it's geo.yourfirstname@gmail.com.
Yes.
I will resend the sheet to you, sir.
Yes, please.
My apologies to the contestants. A few more minutes of waiting, but it gives you a good time to brush up on the points that you have prepared. Sir, I have added you to the sheet once again. If you can just check your email once.
Yes.
Yes, sir. I can see you online on your sheet now.
Yes.
As I was explaining, on every box, there's a small arrow on the right. If you click on that, it drops down the scores that you can possibly give to the students, and you can just choose the score that you want to give. All right, with that, I think we are all set. Miss Shikharani Tati, you're the first speaker for the day. Can we have the contestants on camera, please?
Sir, camera is showing that you can start your video because the host has disabled it.
Abhishek, can you check once?
We'll do it now.
Shika, can you try once more, please?
Yes, sir.
In fact, if all the contestants could check your camera once, that would be a good idea to check before we start. Hi, Shika, I can see you now.
Yes, sir. So can I start?
Just hold on. I know you're raring to go. We'll start with you in a second.
Yes,
Mishra,
no problem.
Zaina and Priyadarshini, I'm yet to see you on camera. Yes, Priyadarshini, I can see you now. Zaina, could you check once? Perfect. I can see you now. So, Ms. Shikharani Tati, before we start, we would love to know you a little bit more. Which school, sorry, we already know the school, I'm sorry, but which class, what are your favorite subjects, what are your hobbies?
Yeah. So I want to, my hobby is to reading books, and now I'm in standard 10. And so can you repeat the next question, please?
Which are your favorite subjects? Anything you want to tell us about yourself?
Yeah. I want to read all subjects, and I want to be a doctor to make our India a disease-free country.
Wonderful. So Shikha, before you become a doctor, let's see your debating skills. If
Yes,
you're
sir.
ready with your arguments, we will start your time for the debate. 5 minutes on the clock now.
Okay. Good afternoon to one and all present over here, respected judges, teachers, my co-participants, and audience. Today I am Shikha Rani Kanti, student of class 10th of Kendriya Vidyalaya Kutra from Odisha. Today I am here to present my view in favor of the motion. We know that there are many countries developing and also underdeveloped country exist in this world. They didn't needed a doctor or they didn't needed a doctor or a scientist. They only needed a skilled labor and new techniques to make their country development. So without wasting my time, I firstly focus on education, because I think education is the most essential to develop a country, and it is useful in every sector for domestic producer also. So if education is not good in a country, then how skill is produced? So if FDI, the foreign direct investment, will come in India, it comes with some new skills, new ideas, and new thinking processes, which can help the people if they involved in that companies, which helps them to know some new ideas. They can get some creativity from them, and after that they can also produce the things with their own ideas. Nextly, we all know that many countries are developing, but still they doesn't have the good technology. So if FDI comes, it brings some new technology with them to maintain the products level, because they are producing, so they want to maintain their products good. So it also opens the doorways for us to research and research in the concerned topic for domestic front. Nextly, I want to come in employment. We all know employment is the important part, and it also give very much. It also give about 85% in our GDP level. So employment. If we see in, I want to give you some report of the business business report, that according to the business today report, between 2000 to 2016, about 3,71,000 employment were provided by the British FDI, and in the last session of 2016, it provides up to 7,81,000 jobs. So if we ban the foreign investment, then are we making that? So I want to raise the question: if you ban that foreign investment, means you are making that people unemployed once again, making them unemployment once again. My friends might be answer me. We want to make our country self-dependent. We want to make our country Atmanirbhar, which was launched by some country, India. They maybe say that, but to make a country self-dependent, it takes several years. So the time limit, which between these times, where did the people go? What did they do? How do they manage their livelihood? Can we think about this? I don't know you have think about this or not, but I have think about this. Nextly, I want to give you some information. The foreign direct investment, that is FDI, come to a country only when a government permit them. Means the FDI comes a country with the permission of that government. So if the government will permit only such FDI which gives them benefit. So there is, if we see that there is benefits of both the country. So in India, I'm giving the report of 2014 that in India, about India has amended its FDI policy to increase the investment level. So what is the reason for banning it now? And now I'm saying the most important, that is GDP level. How it involves the economy of the GDP. In the year 2015 to 16, the GDP level of India was between 7.2% to 7.5%, which is going to cost the China. But now, when the foreign investment was decreased, it's come to 5.6%. So I want to raise another question: do you want to increase the growth of our country? Do you want to increase the GDP or want to decrease it? Secondly, I want to say that when a foreign investment came, foreign investment came, it leads to massive production, which helps in increasing, which leads to a massive production for which the consumer can get it an affordable price. So what is the reason for banning it? When massive production happens, domestic producer can also buy it and they can sell it at a high price. Now my friends might be asked me a question that from this FDI, farmers were forced to sell their goods in a offered price in corporation. But it is not a valid point, because a country's base is agricultural sector, and country can never be monopolized with its agricultural sector. If its agricultural sector was monopolized, then its GDP decrease and never increase. Now my friends maybe asked me a question that someone is knowing our personal information. It is true that knowing someone personal information is not a good thing. But instead of taking it in a negative way, we should take it in a positive way, that how they are technologically advanced. And second thing, the government should take care about that. The government should monitor it time to time. So because foreign investment is needy for us, and it is not for 2 days or 4 days. It is because it gives us a better GDP rate. Thank you.
Thank you, Shikha. Valiant effort, but please over time. I think you are more than 1.5 minutes over time. Judges, please keep that in mind when you're putting in the scores. Burrett sir, I can already see your scores coming in. Shima ma'am, I already have your scores, but please don't score in row 9 right now. The scores for rebuttal would be put in at the end of the rebuttal round. So if you could just remove the score from row 9.
Now can I off my video?
Sure, Shikha. Entirely up to you.
Thank you.
So ladies and gentlemen, that was Shikha Rani Tati from KV Kutra, placing her arguments for the motion that a ban on foreign investment would be detrimental to domestic producers. We can see the scores coming in. Burrett sir, I have your scores. Thank you so much. Mr. Mondol's scores are coming in. Shima ma'am, I have your scores. Thank you so much. Shikha, you will see your scores on the screen as soon as we have Mr. Mondol's scores with us. Mr. Mondol, sir, on row number 9, where you have put in the points, if you could just remove that for now. Right now, we are scoring the students out of 95. The 5 marks for rebuttal would be scored after the rebuttal round for 2 minutes. I will remove the score for you. If you could just fill in the score for vocabulary, then we can take your final score. Thank you so much, sir. I will take that as your final score. So Shikha, if you can see the screen now, these are your scores out of 95 after your first round. Good effort. Let's see how your friends do. Zaina, you're up next. We would love to know you a little bit better before we start the debate.
All right, sir. My name is Zaina Khan. I'm a grade 10 student in NMEIS. My hobbies are reading and writing poetry. I'm a self-declared human rights activist, and I hope to have a fruitful debate today.
Wonderful, Zaina. So the self-declared social rights activist, here's a great platform for activism for you. If you're ready with your arguments, we will start your time now.
Before I begin my speech, I'd like to quote Mahatma Gandhi on this matter. True Swadeshi is that alone in which all the processes through which cotton has to pass are carried out in the same village or town. Domestic producers are the very spirit of the Indian market. The father of our nation, Mahatma Gandhi, promoted local businesses and domestic producers to instill a sense of patriotism in the citizens. The same man that was at the front of the freedom struggle, the same man that we all claim to admire for his courage, his determination, for his pacifist policy. If we ignore his basic principles, how exactly are we good Indian citizens? I'm sure everyone here is familiar with how the East India Company first came to us as traders. After they realized the enormous potential of India, they soon tried to capture and colonize us. I asked my worthy opponents, how don't you believe in the potential of our country? Don't you believe that our country can become a developed country? Don't you remember the mass murder of the Jallianwala Bagh incident? The hunger strikes that our Bapu went on for our country. FTI is a disgrace to those strikes. It is a disgrace to the Swatantrata for which our forefathers fought by promoting FTI. We are just asking other nations to come and colonize our country. I'd like to remind you all that Indian companies such as Reliance and Bajaj received no foreign investment in the beginning, yet succeeded massively. I ask everyone, why exactly should India allow FTI, even though a lot of businesses are succeeding without it? Why do we need FTI? China is a country which usually doesn't allow foreign investors, but invests in other countries. And today, you can see they are ruling every nook and cranny of the world. Even when you visit Paris, you can purchase an Eiffel Tower made in China. There are tons of disadvantages to foreign direct investment. However, due to time restraints, I will be taking only 3 into consideration today. First on the list, FDIs are the main cause for the disappearance of cottage and small businesses. Tell me, my worthy opponents and all present here today, would you buy goods from affordable local businesses which aren't very famous instead of large businesses with massive branches across the globe? We'd all prefer the latter, since there's a deep-rooted belief that if something is famous and well-known, it is a good product. We'd rather throw these local businesses under the bus. Who are they? Why should they matter? They do matter because you send your child to school with a bag made in China and exported by Amazon and MNC and make them sing the national anthem and pledge their allegiance to India while helping the Chinese government certainly. Instead, wouldn't it be helpful to our nation to buy bags made by small Indian businesses and help in the development of our country? Secondly, I'd like to address the topic of political corruption due to FDIs. In order to capture the foreign market, the FDIs have gone to the extent of even corrupting the high officials or political bosses in various countries. The Lockheed scandal of Japan is an example. In certain countries, the FDIs influence the political setup for achieving their personal gains. Most of the Latin American countries have experienced such a problem. Last but not the least, the introduction of FDIs has paved the way for cultural erosion. In all the countries where the FDIs have made an appearance, there has been a cultural shock experienced by the people, adopting a culture foreign to the country. The domestic culture either disappears or is mostly neglected. This is felt in the family structure and social setup of the people. Take, for example, the youth of India. Exactly how many of you would willingly don lehengas and kurtas, even during the busy weekdays? Not many. If you cannot embrace your own culture, how are you going to make sure India maintains its cultural diversity in the future? This was Zaina Khan from New Middle East International School, and I sincerely stand against FDIs. Thank you. Over to the moderator.
Wonderfully done, Zaina. In fact, you just made me feel really guilty about wearing this shirt and not a kurta. Judges, you have access to the scoring sheets. Let's see how you score, Zaina. Just a couple of minutes, Zaina, before we get your scores. Burrett, sir, I have your score. Thank you. If that is final. Mr. Mondal, sir, I have your score. Is that final?
Yes, it is final.
Thank you so much. Shima ma'am, I have your score as well. May I take that as the final score?
Yeah, it's final, sir.
Thank you so much. So Zaina, if you're looking at the screen, these are your scores out of 95 after your first round of debate up on the screen now. Very, very well done.
Thank you, sir.
Misha, you're up next. Your schoolmate has put up a great show. But this topic, when we had initially thought about it, looked like it had enough firepower on both sides of the table. So before you start, we would love to know you a little bit better. Misha, you're on mute.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you now. Perfect.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Misha Kapoor. I'm from New Middle East International School. I'm in grade 10. I'm someone who's actually very keen on speaking, and I've tried to participate in every possible debate and elocution competition. So I'm really looking forward to today's debate. All the best to everyone.
Thank you, Misha. And if you're ready with your arguments, we will start your time for the debate now.
Forex reserves for just 3 weeks of imports. External debt, 23% of GDP. Economy on the brink of a collapse. I repeat, economy on the brink of a collapse. This was the financial crisis in India in 1991. 1991 was a landmark year for India, with economic reforms changing the way we lived, worked, and spent money. But the story of how we got here is no less thrilling than a Bollywood blockbuster. Growing financial imbalances over the 1980s, spiraling oil prices due to the Gulf War, and their impact on India's import clearly meant that India was suffering its worst economic crisis since independence. 24th July 1991, Prime Minister Manmohan Singh welcomed foreign direct investments. Since then, the entry of foreign players in the automobile sector has made the domestic industry globally competitive. And now, India is the fourth largest automobile sector in the world. Foreign direct investments are commonly made in open economies that have skilled workforce and growth prospects. FDIs not only bring in money with them, but also skills, technology, and knowledge. Economic liberalization started in India in the wake of the 1991 crisis, and since then, FDI has steadily increased in the country. India today is part of top 100 club on ease of doing business and globally ranks as #1 in the Greenfield FDI ranking. In fact, a study done in 2003 states that the foreign investments influences can be studied under 6 parts, which are capital, management, technology, product and process innovation, competition, and employment. But there can be severe implications to the ban of foreign investments in an economy where local businessmen are exposed to losses when foreign investment is banned. For example, shutting down of Japanese Panasonic's fax machine plant in Malaysia impacted local supplier, which supplied special plastic resin to Panasonic. After shutting the plant, the local supplier also had no business due to insufficient demand, which further impacted the business of cutter knives producers. Cutter knives producers had to look for alternatives all the way from Taiwan to import resin at higher cost, also involving the challenges of exchange rate fluctuations and shipping uncertainties. Now, if we talk about the big names, Amazon, one of the giants in retail business, has invested in around 17 countries across the world, and as a matter of fact, has become the most leading e-commerce in most of them. Over the years, Amazon has created business for over 1.9 million small businessmen and entrepreneurs. More than half of the items sold by Amazon on its platforms by small and medium sellers gives them an opportunity to dignitize their business and compete against big retailers. So if there's a limit to ban on further expansion of company across various platforms, it might lead to sending negative currents across the respective economy. Let's take into consideration current times. The rift between China and India has gathered attention of everyone from around the world. As a part of the borders issue, India has taken several steps, like instituting a trade ban with China. Now, logically speaking, if the Indian government restricts foreign investment from China, then many of its local and established businesses like Paytm, Big Basket might get hurt. As of course, Chinese investors form a major shareholding in these businesses. The access of capital can also be understood in terms of Saudi Arabia, as the government has recently opened up 49% limit for foreign strategic investors in shares of listed companies on Tadawul. The foreign portfolio investments done further will enable the local companies to have access to billions of dollars of foreign funds that may lead to their further development and growth. To conclude, I'd like to say that investing into another country's economy, buying into a foreign company, or otherwise expanding your business abroad can be extremely financially rewarding and might provide you with the boost needed to jump to a new level of success. Domestic workers get access to new technology, and employed workers are finally incorporated in the small businesses. So putting a ban on foreign investments not only disturbs an economy, but also disturbs the domestic workers. Thank you.
Wonderfully done, Misha. Some very forceful arguments there. I can see that Zaina versus Misha must be a common fixture in the school. Well, adjudicators, you now have access to the scoring sheets. Let's see how you scored them. Shima ma'am, I have your score. May I take that as final, please?
Yes, sir, it's final.
Burrett sir, I have your scores as well.
Yes, thank you.
Mr. Mondal, have your scores?
Yes, that's fine.
So Misha, if you can see the screen now, these are your scores out of 95 after your first round of debating. Very, very well done.
Thank you, sir.
Well, Priyadarshini is up next. Priyadarshini, you have a tough task ahead of you, but I'm sure you will live up to it. Before you start, we would love to know you a little better. Priyadarshini, I think you're on mute.
Oh, sorry. Okay, so my name is SS Priyadarshini Sahu, and I'm a kind of very ambitious person, and I want to do something for the society and for my country, and that's all.
Wonderful, Priyadarshini. Your schoolmate wanted to be a doctor. You want to do something for the country. It's brilliant that your school fosters such beliefs and faiths. Great. Priyadarshini, if you're ready with your arguments, we will start your time for the debate now.
Okay, sir. So, a very good evening to everyone present over here, honorable jury members, and my very knowledgeable co-participants. I am SS Priyadarshini Sahu, and today I'm going to say against of the motion on the topic that is foreign investment. Banning of foreign investment is detrimental to the domestic producers. First of all, I'm again repeating that our father of the nation, Mahatma Gandhi, has said that to develop Swaraj, we have to adopt Swadeshi. So for that, we have to consume the products that are produced by our domestic producers. Again, I want to repeat the disadvantages of this foreign investment in every country. First, taking the corruption. They corrupt the higher officials and politicians as well. And pollution. The pollution-borne industries are always concentrated to developing countries and are displaced from developed countries to developing countries. And they or I can say they utilize our resources that can be human resources, that can be natural resources for their profit. As their profit is fulfilled, they took away their industries, leaving the people working there jobless, unemployed. Taking you to the products, domestic products. They have the alternatives of every domestic products. And once they monopolize their company, monopolize their industry, they have the worst product. There is no level of the product at all. I can say that very confidently. And again, they have more capital. Actually, they have more capital. That's why they are investing. They advertises their products. They fascinate people and make them control them. And the consumers always consumes those FDI's product and always get a product of very bad level. Again, I can say big business destroyed local economies by displacing many people affiliated with business like small shopkeeping and many more. And they give a stiff competition to the local or domestic producer. So they are left with two choices, either to stop their business or to sell their business to the investors with a huge loss. Okay, taking examples of some countries like Thailand, when this FDI hit Thailand, 60,000 of small shops were banned, or I can say closed. And when two multinational companies were allowed or established, 63% loss was seen. Many were saying that they are threatened. 63% were threatened, 50% were experiencing loss, 71% of loss in sales. And yes, 72% of economic loss, 17% of increase in hafta system and bribes, 24% of harassment by agents, and finally 92% of them are saying that they will be unemployed and will stop this business. Even going to agricultural sector, due to monopolizations, farmers will always sell their products to them in a fixed price. And the farmers are pushed to do artificial agriculture by artificial methods or to single crop farming. I can lastly say that if FDI will be banned, it will be a boon for our country. We will produce more, production will increase, export will increase, employment will increase, and our domestic product producers will rise. As my knowledgeable and respectable co-participant have said, that companies like Amazons are doing their best. But yes, I'm saying that I'm from a village, okay? And the Amazon is not, we are not getting any products on Amazon. So if we'll give the chance to domestic producers, they can make it available in every parts of India. We can see the examples of LED revolution in India, that how the LEDs of India are consuming less electricity and they are beneficial to use. And the Atmanirbhar Bharat, which is launched, and it is we are getting feedback that the producers are benefiting from it. Production is increasing, employment is increasing. And yes, you have said that how India has banned the industries or the investment from China. India should get the chance to develop itself, because if domestic producer will get chance, and then India will definitely develop. And yes, going to the apps which are banned, now we can see after banning of this, new technology are coming up in India. New apps are coming up. And yes, we are getting better technology, better. How we get this? Just by banning them. So if we'll ban them, we can see the productivity of India. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Well done, Priyadarshini. Some very forceful arguments again. Let's see how the judges score you.
Thank you, sir.
I can see the scores coming in. Shima ma'am, I have your score. Can I take that as final?
Yes, sir, you can take it.
Burrett, sir, I have your scores.
Yeah, thank you, Shubhayu.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Mundal, sir, may I take that as your final score?
Yes.
Thank you so much, sir. We have the 3 scores in. So, Priyadarshini, if you can see the screen, these are your scores after your first round of debate out of a total score of 95. Very, very well done.
Thank you, sir.
Come back for the rebuttals. Remember, the for bench has 2 students from 2 opposing schools. So does the against bench. So Shikharani and Misha, both of you will rebut the points put forth by Zaina and Priyadarshini, and vice versa. We will start with Shikharani. Judges, please note you're scoring for 5 points. The time allotted for rebuttal is 2 minutes. I will request the contestants to please stick to that time limit. Shikha, if you are ready with your rebuttal, we will start your time now.
So my friend had told that no countries can develop with FDI, but there are examples that because of FDI countries are developed. For example, USA, China, Brazil, Hong Kong, and many more. My friend has also told that some countries like China are knowing our personal information. But it is the work of government to monitor it, to change the policy time to time, and to follow it and to look over it, that it is doing good for our country or bad for our country. And they also say that it is not benefited. How it is not benefited? Because there is an agreement that both the country will get benefit for it. So that's why I think that at the conclusion, I think that foreign investment is good for India and other countries, because it gives us new technology, skills. It also take part of our GDP, and even when pandemic like situation happen, it also give us necessary revenue. Like for examples, when there in 2018 in the February month, the IKEA company has given 4,000 crore for the settlement of multi-format sets in Maharashtra. Are you thinking about this? So I think it's good for our country. Thank you.
Wonderful, Shikha, this time sticking to the time limit and making some powerful rebuttal points there. Zaina, you're up next. We will show the scores for the rebuttal right at the end. This is when I play the evil moderator and start, building some suspense. Zaina, I cannot see your camera. Yeah, you're on mute.
Shall I begin?
Perfect. Zaina, if you're ready, we will start your time now.
Okay. My opposition mentioned that FDIs are commonly made in open economies that have skilled workforce and growth prospect. However, I'd like to point out that a majority of the Indian population is invested in the agricultural sector. These agriculturalists would then pass on their careers to their children, and a lot of them aren't even interested in careers other than farming. Also, if these agriculturalists left their farms for the secondary and tertiary sectors, who would provide us with the raw materials needed for many industries? They also mentioned that FDI provides employment to thousands of unemployed people. But at what cost? The people employed usually work in harmful conditions and may be in a situation of mortal peril. FDI was never successful anywhere. It has always faced cultural clashes, socio-political issues, etc. India has the manpower and resources to not only import goods, but to export them all across the globe. Hence why I feel that the opposition's argument is invalid. Thank you.
Well done, Zaina. And as somebody who's considerably older, it's always heartening to see handwritten notes. Very well done on the rebuttal. The judges, I can see, are scoring you now. Judges, please put in Zaina's score in the fourth column right away. Shima ma'am, I have your score. Burrett sir, I have your score. Mr. Mondal, if you could please put in Zaina's score here. Great. Zaina, thank you for that. We will come to Misha next. Misha, I hope you're ready.
Yes.
You're ready. Your time for the rebuttal. 2 minutes. Start now.
All of the issues pointed out by my worthy opponent are indeed concerning. However, none of them are economic issues, but political issues. Enforcement of environmental laws, labor laws, and protecting the strategic interests of the country are all responsibilities of the domestic government, regardless of the entry of foreign investment. The solution to a legislative problem lies within legislation, not within economics. Also, free market competition works, and real people benefit from it. Enormously, competition delivers the most goods and services at the best prices to a great number of people. It creates better, more efficient companies and gives buyers more value. You can use the new income flow wisely, tax them, and reinvest in your own country. Foreign direct investment is good. If you don't improve your behavior, you are right in suggesting that eventually all the profits on the investments also flow abroad, and foreign direct investment is just giving you some financial breathing space. It's like a parent giving a shopaholic child an advance on their inheritance, and they blow that too. Thank you.
Well done, Misha. Some very well argued rebuttal there. The judges, please put in your scores for Misha now before we go on to the next participant. Shiva ma'am, I can see your score. Thank you. Mr. Mondal, I have your score. Thank you. Burrett sir, I have your score as well. Thank you so much. With that, Priyadarshini, you have the duty of wrapping up this debate. The final set of rebuttals are from you. If you are ready with your rebuttal, we will start. Please unmute yourself first. Yeah? If you're ready with your time, we will start now.
Okay, so as my co-participant have said that this is not an economy problem. Yes, it is. If the FDI will be there, then how will be the economic conditions of domestic producer will rise? And yes, if FDI will not be there, then per capita income will also increase. And yes, after that, our country will also develop itself. And as all my participants have said, employment. Always know that employment from FDI comes with a fixed timing. It depends on the investor's country situation, economic situation, and also where the investor is investing, the country's economic situation, the country's political situation. So it comes with a price tag of timing and also the economic conditions, and it vastly affect all those domestic producers. Thank you, that much I want to say.
Thank you, Priyadarshini. Well done. The judges, please enter your scores for Priyadarshini so that we can have the final tally. Mr. Mondal, thank you. Burrett, so thank you. Seema ma'am, thank you so much. We have the scores in and we shall set about to tabulate them. But before we do that, as I said, the evil moderator will increase the suspense a little bit more. This is also when I tell you that we have an audience poll for the best speaker for the day. And the school with the best speaker gets 25 additional points added to their tally. So if you haven't told all your friends and all your classmates to join in, now would be a good time to do that. Now, the Center 0 Hour debate is brought to you by Notebook. Notebook is an edtech brand. We are based in India and cater to students across the globe. We make small videos that help in learning every topic from your curriculum. These are not necessarily a recording of a classroom, but they use animations and pictures and tell stories that help you learn in a more fun, a more concise way, and it helps teachers by giving them an ideal tool to make their classes more fun for the kids. What I will do now is show you a small clip of one of the Notebook videos so that you can know what all I'm talking about.
We shall now begin with the story. Right at the beginning, we are introduced to the 8-year-old girl, Valyammai or Valli. She is the central character of today's story. Valli is a loner who prefers observing the street from a front door rather than playing with the children of her age. Among all the things she observes, she is particularly interested in a bus. The bus travels between her village and the town. She is envious of her friends who get to ride the bus and visit the town. She desperately longs for a chance to do the same. Often, one of her friends would ride a bus and describe the sights of the town to the other girls. Valli and her friends would taunt her and call her proud. Neither Valli nor her friends understand what proud means and use it as a slang. From this little interaction, we learn how certain foreign words infiltrate the vocabulary of local or rural people with changed meanings. Just as many villagers wish to get a taste of city life, they also aspire for an English education. Let us come back to the story. Valli gathers information about the town by listening to the passengers who travel by the bus. She learns that the bus takes 45 minutes to reach the city and the fare for one way is 30 paisa. It is difficult for her to afford both-way rides, but she does not give up hope. She plans, calculates, and recalculates. One spring afternoon, she finally manages to board the bus. The good-humored bus conductor jokes at her precociousness. He addresses her as Madam and incites laughter from the passengers. Valli soon gets busy admiring the interiors of the bus and the scenery outside. She has to stand on her seat to peer outside. A concerned passenger asks her to sit down, afraid she would hurt herself. She retorts that she is not a child because she has paid the fare like the adults. Next, an elderly woman notices her traveling alone and expresses her concern. Valli judges the woman by her unattractive appearance and behaves badly with her. The author then describes how painstakingly Valli has managed to save money for her trip. She has resisted the temptations of buying peppermints, toys, balloons, or riding the merry-go-round at the village fair. To escape notice, she has planned the trip round the time when her mother naps in the afternoon. All this indicates the intensity of her desire to visit the town. Next, we see Valli's first experience of a moving bus. The thrill of her first ride is expressed in how she observes the motion of the bus.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was a little bit of a notebook video. We have Achin Bhattacharyya with us today. Achin is the founder and CEO of Notebook. Achin is a chartered accountant by training, and he was a director at Deloitte prior to starting Notebook. Before Deloitte, he has also worked with GE, KPMG, and PwC in various senior capacities across the globe. Achin, we would love to hear your thoughts about today's debate and hear a little more about Notebook.
Sure. Good afternoon, everyone. Shubha, am I audible?
Yeah, Achin, loud and clear.
This was some great effort on the part of all the participants. And I really appreciate your confidence, passion, and research in the content. Shikharani, Zaina, Misha, and Priyadarshini, really well done. Very well done. See, what I feel is I like the maturity in your arguments, which is commendable considering your age. So each aspect, so be it your passionate deliberations, your voice modulation, and I'm sure your teachers and parents have worked hard on preparing each one of you. And I congratulate them and salute their efforts. It's wonderful to see students in schools from across the globe connecting with each other to promote the cause of public speaking and to keep the spirit of students high during this hour of pandemic, when all students are stuck at home, and rightfully so for many months now. I also thank both the principals for encouraging this endeavor. At Notebook, it's always students first. Today, we have millions of users in our platform, mostly students and teachers, also some parents who are helping take, their children in their studies. It's wonderful how during this hour of pandemic we have seen parents also doing their bit and stepping into the shoes of educators. And coming to the debate, irrespective of the results of this debate, to me what is important is positive spirit of participation and the continuous endeavor to improve. I wish all of you the very best in your life. May all of you grow up to be excellent human beings with dignity, value, and compassion. I haven't even mentioned about your careers, as given your performance today, I'm sure you'll do very well in your professional careers. I also thank the audience for supporting this endeavor. Your active engagement with 0 Hour and the way you come to each session and encourage our participants really means a lot. I look forward to see each one of you in our next 0 Hour session at 3 p.m. tomorrow. Thank you, take care, and goodbye. Over to you, Shubhai.
Thank you, Achin. Thank you for those wonderful words. 0 Hour is brought to you in partnership with Save the Children, which is a foundation that is more than 100 years old, working across the globe to save childhoods of many underprivileged children who are not as privileged as most of us, who need to have their childhood saved. Here's a message from their CEO, Ms. Vidisha Pillai. Interestingly, I'm sure all of you would be happy to hear this, that the winners of the 0 Hour debate would also be offered internships with Save the Children. We were fortunate to have Ms. Pillai with us at one of our webinars a few weeks back. And here is Ms. Pillai talking about Save the Children and the wonderful work that they do.
Save the Children was born in 1919. 100 years is not a milestone that many organizations or individuals can claim to have reached. And for us, it's been a tireless, relentless journey to ensure that every child has access to their rights. Every child has a voice. But when we look back at 100 years, because 100 is also a time to reflect, we wonder what it would be like to live in a world where children don't need to be saved. Perhaps we could live in a world where Save the Children does not need to exist. And so as we look at the future, we envision a world which is much kinder to its children. A world in which children no longer need to be protected from violence, where children are not needlessly dying before they turn 5, where every child is going to school, is learning, is playing, and is on that path towards fulfilling their full potential. As we turn 100, we pledge to work towards that future of a much kinder and brighter world for children. Every day, every hour, every minute, we will continue on that path. But we also know we can't do it alone. We want to work closely with the communities, with our partners, with the government, and most importantly, with the children themselves. They are going to be the change makers of tomorrow. Children like Anoyara, like Rahul, like Salman, like Mamta, they are the ones who are breaking gender stereotypes. They are challenging social norms, and they are changing the world and the lives of themselves and also children around them. We pledge to continue working with them, alongside them, to ensure that every child gets the right start. I'm Bidisha Pillai, and I invite you to join Save the Children in our commitment to ensure that every child gets the right start.
Well, after those wonderful messages from Achin and Ms. Pillai, it is now time to end this suspense. I'm sure the contestants hate me by now. So without increasing the suspense any further, here are your scores out of 100. Shikha, you have scored 52. Zaina is at 80. Misha is at 81. And Priyadarshini, you are at 82. This is close because this brings the school averages for KV Kutra to 67 and for the New Middle East International School to 81. The difference between the two scores is less than 25, which means the audience poll gets to decide. Members of the audience, I will now start a poll. You will see the poll coming up on your screen with 4 speakers' names on it. You will have to select one. You will have 1 minute to cast your vote. So think well and cast your vote within a minute. You should see the poll on your screens now. Remember, you have 1 minute to cast your vote. So start voting. Just about 10 seconds left. 10 people yet to vote. And we will end the poll. It's been a minute. And those, ladies and gentlemen, are the results on your screen. Misha Kapoor winning this vote hands down with 64% of the votes. Both the voting percentage as well as the winning percentage is something that most democratic leaders around the world would be extremely enviable of. Well, Misha, we shall add your 25 points for the best speaker to your team score, which means your team goes from an average of 81 to an average of 106. Those, ladies and gentlemen, are the final scores at the end of today's debate. KV Kutra, the two speakers at 52 and 82, giving an average of 67. The New Middle East International School from Saudi Arabia, the two speakers at 80 and 81. Added to that, the 25 points for having the best speaker, Misha Kapoor, ending up with a total of 106 and winning today's debate. At this point, I would invite back Mr. Philip Burrett. Sir, if we could have you summing up the debate and leave the contestants with your advice.
Thank you very much, Shabayu. Oh, wow, really a fantastic debate. I really enjoyed this. Shikarani, if you're going to become a doctor, you're going to become a very successful doctor because you are a fighter. And the way you went on, I tell you, hats off to you. Hats off to you. Can you hear me, Shabayu?
Thank you so much, sir.
Hello. Yes. And also, Priya Sukrani, like me, you talk very fast. We both are people in a hurry. Perhaps if you slow down your debate slightly, you would make a better impact, just as I am consciously trying to speak slower.
Yes, sir, I'll try next time.
Priyadarshini, you were wonderful again. You seem to have been debating for years. I really love your debate. Nisha, you are a very talented speaker. You're very clear. You peppered your debate with so many facts. You're very talented. And Zania.
Thank you so much, sir.
I loved your idea about. I loved your idea about political corruption. You will be a Greta Thunberg very, very soon. It was a wonderful debate because there's so many points on both sides. If you allow foreign investments, you kill your domestic market. If you don't have foreign investments, you don't have competition. And your two schools came from different parts of the world. One school was much more in a rural area, while the other is in an urban area. And I guess your perspective on the debate came from two very different parts of the world. Has the whole of India benefited from globalization? Has it benefited from the open market? We don't know, So a lovely debate. Thank you very much. I was really entertained. God bless all of you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir, for that wonderful summary and your advice to the students. Well, that's the final result for Match 12 in Pool D. The winner, New Middle East International School from Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. It's been an absolute privilege hosting all of you today. We look forward to having you all in our next debate, which is tomorrow at 3 p.m. India time. Until then, take care and goodbye.